80. Blue 80, subscribe. Say, Omaha. Subscribe.
Hello, Panther fans and football fans. Timmy V.O, Panther Comms. Welcome back. So, Panther fans, this is Monday in the Box. I'm your host, Timmy V.O. We're not just looking at the final score. All right, we're looking at what the box score tells us about how Carolina controlled the game. And, these things matter. Details matter. And we have some evidence that the Carolina Panthers made some strides, even though we didn't have all the pieces in place to really make a good assessment. We made strides nonetheless. So here's the command thesis for today's episode. All right, this is the episode intel board. Core evidence. Carolina's obviously a 34-17 winner over Jacksonville and was decided by situational control, not raw efficiency alone. You see, the final score was one thing, but the details tell another story. And that story is Carolina Panthers had leverage throughout this game. And it was through, good play, not sloppy football, but also consistency once they got their feet settled. Now, let me show you what I mean. You see, the total yards obviously was 385 for the Carolina Panthers. We had 23 first downs. Well, that's not bad. 147 rushing yards. All right. And net passing yards, 238. That's between three quarterbacks. Third down efficiency rating of 6 of 12, right? 50%, which is pretty good. And fourth down, we were 100%. And if you know anything about Carolina Panther football, when it comes to fourth down, yeah, we don't play around. Obviously. So, and red zone efficiency, and we'll talk about this later. 4 of 5 for the Carolina Panthers in the red zone. Huge. But the biggest stat of all, outside of 4 touchdowns, 0 turnovers. None. 0 turnovers. Does that have something to do with our offensive guards being plugged in this game? Potentially. Right? Shout out to Brooks. We'll talk about him too, man. Great guy. All right, so we're going to go through some elements of the game, okay? Now, I'm going to name them off for you, give you the category, and break it down, all right? Element 1, source lock, all right? This is evidence control. So the Carolina Panthers were at Everbank Stadium in Jacksonville, Florida. It was humid as hell, 85 degrees, 75% humidity. Good Lord, boy. That's Florida for you. That's Florida for you. I got married in Florida. But anyway, so scoring by quarter. All right, so the first quarter, Panthers 7-3. Second quarter, Panthers 13-3. Third quarter, 7-0 Panthers. And fourth quarter, 11-7 for the Jags. Okay? The official game book is the controlling source, all right, and everything else is supplemental. All right, this is where we come into play. So I'm going to break it down for you, okay? So the Carolina Panthers, again, had the leverage throughout the game. 3 out of 4 quarters, we weren't playing around, okay? And we scored in all 4. Yeah, big difference. And I'll talk about some details in that regard, too, because this kind of muddies the water a little bit when we're talking about the Jacksonville situation. I'll talk about that, okay? Element 2, scoreboard, sit rep. All right. So the scoring plays. All right. Obviously, the Carolina Panthers had the nice articulate drive, I guess you could say, ending off with a Jonathon Brooks 1-yard run. Right, with 7-0. Brooks didn't get hurt. He's getting his confidence back. If you didn't see that interview with Jonathon Brooks at the end of the game, it's on the Carolina Panthers app. You might want to go check that out, or the website, and whatnot. This kid really got his head on straight, man. I have a lot of respect for him. Okay. Jacksonville retaliated with a 34-yard field goal, and then Carolina had the Ryan Fitzgerald 48-yard field goal, made it 10-3. A.J. Dillon run, it was made it 17-3. And then of course Jacksonville with Cam Little, another field goal. Because they didn't touch the end zone until the fourth quarter. But yeah, Cam Little 34-yarder. Fitzgerald with a 61-yard field goal, right? His preseason career high in distance. Okay. Raheem Taylor, 16-yard pass from Kenny Pickett. That was a damn good throw. You know what I'm talking about if you saw it. Great concentration, really good throw, great concentration. All right. That was nice to see. Again, evidence, right? And then, another field goal by Cam Little. Jacksonville's pesky. no, no harm done, Jacksonville fans. C.J. Washington had a 15-yard pass from Kyle Trask, and then Penna with a 29-yard pass from Aguilar. Okay, and then Dallas had the 2-point conversion, right? And that made it 34-17, okay? The scoreboard pattern matters because obviously Carolina answered across all phases of the game last night instead of relying on one scoring burst, okay? There wasn't a here, lull here, right? First quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. We're in the red zone. We're threatening. We're putting on pressure. We're not turning the ball over. They're turning the ball over. We're creating turnovers. This is what you want to see. All facets of the game playing out. Fitzgerald nailing them, right? Getting great punts, getting them on their side of the football so we can apply pressure when we want to, not the other way around, all right? All three facets of the game have to play together for you to be consistent. Consistency in football does not come from just a good offense. It doesn't come from just a good defense. Okay? All right? You can't have a stable top on the table with one of the legs out of whack, right? And it has to be balanced. Everything has to be even and sturdy, structured. Right? This is what we're looking at. Okay? Element 3, team stat intel. Final team statistics for you folks. Okay. Now, I already went through the first downs, but I didn't talk about the rushing first downs. We had 7 rushing first downs. They had 4. All right. Again, Jacksonville they're pesky. Right. They play some sloppy football though. Granted, a lot of penalties on their side, and we'll talk about that. All right. Passing first downs, pretty even. We had 13. They had 11. Right. Penalty first downs. Right. Carolina Panthers got 3 first downs off of penalties. I mean, come on, Jacksonville. Jesus Christ. Rushing attempts. Of course, we had 147 yards, but we had 28 attempts, right at 5.3 yards per clip based on the average. I mean, based on the total rushing yards. Now, that's skewed, and I'll get to that in just a second. It wasn't that good. We probably would have ended up with an average of around 3.9. It wasn't that good. I'm just saying. Don't get your hopes up. Now, the Carolina Panthers had 5 penalties for only 35 yards. Okay? I can live with that. That 5 is a little high, personally, because it's the pros. I can live with that. But Jacksonville, like I mentioned, 9 penalties. 3 first downs, thank you. 9 penalties for 60 yards. Come on now. All right? Jacksonville had a fumble, a fumble for a loss of possession. Okay? Time of possession, which is, again, it's interesting because we had the ball just a little over 5 minutes more than they did. If you look at the stats, man, Jacksonville doesn't look like they should have got beaten by 17 points. But again, red zone efficiency, 4 touchdowns, 1 touchdown for Jacksonville. You got to get it done when it counts, baby. You know, Jacksonville's yards per play edge is the false read, and I'll get into that also. We have some categories and within some elements for you. Carolina won the possession value category. Possession value, right? Finishing, okay? And that turns the box score into the final score. That's the important thing. Context. This is the Panther Cons podcast. Element 4, first half engagement report. First half, 20-6. Did I say it anymore? Efficiency, getting it done. We had 12 of our first downs in the first half. And Jacksonville had 9. See? Right there with us. All right. Third down efficiency in the first half for Carolina wasn't that good. It was 2 of 6. That first drive for us was still a little rusty, but then, I mean, yeah, we'll talk about Bryce's numbers, but he just is methodical. Boom, 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 boom. Jonathon Brooks. Right. It was great. It was great. We had 92 rushing yards in the first half. They had 56. That's big. Right. That's big. And again, that's a little skewed, but that's big. Jacksonville beat us in net passing yards in the first half. They had a little over 100. We only had 80. But again, efficiency. The halftime margin was situational primarily because Carolina did not need a massive yardage gap because of field position, red zone finish, penalties, and the end of half kick created separation. All right. All facets. It's good to see. Now, the second half, the key second half drives, we had Carolina, that third quarter touchdown, 7 plays, 69 yards. Pickett hit again, Raheem Taylor. That's big, man. I mean, 7 plays for 69 yards. Efficiency, right? And, he hit some other players along the way on that drive, obviously, but man, A.J. Dillon was looking good yesterday. The fourth quarter, we had an 11 play, 73-yarder, right? And that's when trash hit at Washington. Let me go ahead and talk about the reality of the situation, though, what we're talking about here. Carolina got to Jacksonville 3 days ago, right? They've already had practice together. They were already used to each other. So, all of our starters didn't play on defense. All of their starters didn't play on defense, Travis. So, these things come into play when we talk about this, okay? That type of consistency. But at the same time, and I mentioned this in the last episode, when you get on the field, you do your job, period. If you're not going to do your job, somebody else will do your job for you, period. Any questions? Okay, good. Jacksonville, 7 plays, 65 yards there at the end of the game, basically in the fourth quarter again. And that's how that ended up. Yep. Element 6, the debrief for the offense. Now the debrief. Now we touched on a lot of this already, but just know when we really start clicking. I think Coker only had 1 target. XL hasn't played a game yet in the preseason, right? Mechie's looking good. Moore's looking good. Look, I'm really excited about this offense. I truly am. And again, no turnovers. And Bryce was surgical. He was really surgical. Okay. This was the offensive correction profile in this game, right? Clean quarterback operation, balanced production, no giveaways, no sacks, and finish in scoring territory. That's what you asked for. Okay. Now let's go a little bit deeper. All right. 6 alpha, the QB operation, as I mentioned. Okay. Kenny Pickett was 15 of 25 for $137, a touchdown. Bryce was 5 of 6, 49 yards. He hit Tetairoa a couple of times on some good ones. I really thought Tetairoa got in on that one, though, but he was just a little bit short. He tripped up on another pass coming across, and I wonder if he could have got his footing together. He might would have got a little bit closer. But anyway, and Kyle Trask was 4 of 4 for 52. Bryce got some good veteran help around him right now, for the most part. So that's good to see. Now, the quarterback room protected the football and stayed clean. Again, Young's first team sample was efficient. Yeah, now, that has to do with the center, not the center of the player. I'm talking about the center of the pocket, right? You want to have that wall in front and have the edge bend off, right? So you can have a platform to throw from. And I will implore you to check out some of his clips from the game yesterday and check out that pocket. When there was a good wall, he didn't have any problem throwing over the wall. It seems like he's tall enough. I'm just saying. But yeah, it's a big difference from the Buffalo game. And again, we've been practicing with Jacksonville. We went to Buffalo and played. Completely different. But you still have to do what? Okay. Moving on. 6 Bravo. We got the Young McMillan receiving line, right? It's just a very small sample, and I already talked about this, but a very small sample, right? 2 targets, 2 receptions. Boom, boom. Average of 12.5 yards, though. Longest was 17. It's impactful. Qualitative, quantitative. I'm just saying. The quality of the situation here is they're really in sync. All right. Now, McMillan first team scoring drive and plays, right? The situation, you had a 3rd and 4 at Jacksonville 26. Bryce hit McMillan for a 17-yarder. First down. 1st and 9. Jacksonville, the Jacksonville 9-yard line, excuse me. That's when he hit Tetairoa for the 8-yarder. I thought he was going to get in the end zone there. Hey, it matters because we're moving the ball, gaining opportunities, converting on 3rd down, and you getting that connection and that confidence, right? And that's what I hate about XL not getting these reps, because he's going to be a little behind. He looks great. He looks great in practice. You get out there and play, and you're playing out there in full speed because you're going up against an opponent and you haven't practiced against. It's a little different. Now, 6 Charlie, you got the run game. All right. Tyus had 9 attempts for 39, right, for 4.3. And this is the correction people need to understand with the overall average from the run game from yesterday. Jimmy Horn, you guys saw that when he took off. I thought he was going to pull away from those guys. 1 carry for 39 yards. That's added to the overall average for the running back room. So I say running back room because that's the vast majority of individuals who are listed in the Carolina rushing detail here. So he had 1 rush for 39 yards, which is averaging with everybody else. Now you have Trevor Etienne, 5 carries, 24 yards. He was under 5 a carry. Jonathon Brooks, 5 carries for 18 yards, 3.6. Right, and then he had an 11-yard gainer though. He got his legs back under him, but again, so a very small average. AJ, 5 carries, 16, 3.2 average. Right, but he had a touchdown. So did Jonathan. Context. And Mike Davis, 3 carries for 11 yards. Again, the overall average should be like right around 3.9, give or take. But that Jimmy Horn, man, he took off. Great blocking on the edge too. That 39-yarder was amazing. Okay, and the run game gave Carolina balance and touchdown finish. It's again qualitative, quantitative. 6 Delta, drive sustainability. All right, this is Carolina's drive chart. And we touched on some of the scoring drives, but some of those wind up with the punt. Like I mentioned, the first drive, 4 plays, 21 yards. Back to the same old. And then we came back out there and, a great drive, right? Ended with a touchdown. Now after that, we had, 3 plays, 3 yards as net, right? Net 3 yards, all right? Punt. We had a missed field goal by Fitzgerald, right? I forgot to mention that. That was a 13-play, 54-yard drive. Just stalled a little bit short, but overall touchdown after the missed field goal, another touchdown after that touchdown. And the resiliency of this team is great to see, and that comes through coaching. All right, we need to understand that too. All right, 6 Echo, pass pro, protection statistics. All right, sacks allowed, yep. Sacks yards lost, yep. Times thrown versus yards lost, yep. Like that, all right. Team passing, we already talked about all that. But those O's, interceptions, zip. Those O's, oh yeah. Clean football damn near guarantees that you're going to win the game. You're at least going to be in it. Okay, and Jacksonville was a little sloppy out there. We took advantage of it. It is what it is. All right. Element 7. We're going to the defense debrief now, folks. My favorite place to be. I love defense. So we're talking about Jacksonville's offense because that relates to the defense. Some of the stuff we already go over, so I'm not going to repeat some of it. Okay. Again, total 80 rushing yards on the game, over 51 plays. Okay. Now yards per play is 6.2. We had 6.1. That's something again about statistics. It doesn't tell the whole story. Our defense put in work. Okay. They only had 1 passing touchdown. They had a fumble for a turnover, an interception for a turnover. Okay. Now let's talk about the individuals on defense that were flashing last night. Patrick Jones, and I talk about Pat Jones on a TikTok vid. He's gonna come out here and show his tail this season if he stays healthy. 1 sack for a loss of 8 yards, a tackle for a loss, and a quarterback hit. He was in it, right? Big Hunter had a tackle for a loss. Garcia had a tackle for a loss. After he got Garcia also got pummeled. I think that pissed him off because I think it was the next play or 2 plays later is when he had that tackle for a loss. But and that guard caught him slipping. Big Smith had a quarterback hit and a forced fumble. Princely, quarterback hit. He almost had a couple of sacks. I'll be honest with you, the quarterback just stepped up in the pocket. Man, Princely's going to be a beast, man. Hopefully Nick can come back next year and stay healthy, and Princely can stay healthy. That'll be a dynamic duo. We'll have both ends covered, no matter the situation, on top of what we already got. Man, what a great situation. What a great job by Dan Morgan and his daggone scout team. God almighty. Anyway, but with the defense, the pressure profile was not heavy volume. It was timely disruption, right? Sack, fumble force, recovery, and field position change. It's huge. It's huge. 7 Bravo, the run defense, right? So when we talk about Jacksonville's rushing ability and why they only had 80 yards, right? Abdullah had the highest yard total, 45. Yeah, they were really getting to the second level. Talking about the offensive line for the Jaguars, they were really getting to the second level with Abdullah in the game. They were taking advantage of us. I remember that. He had 7.5 yards per average. 7.5 yards for his average. Dallas had 27 yards at 3.4. And everybody else, they didn't run the ball much. That's another reason. They had 20 total attempts, but this is a reflection of the pressure, right? 3 facets of football. The pressure that the offense puts on your opponent by putting up points. Okay? You want to stop the run? Put up 3 touchdowns on your opponent in the first quarter. That run game would be non-existent unless your defense lets them back in the game, but that's another facet. Do your job. I'm saying, you put 3 touchdowns up on somebody, they're not going to be running the ball, I guarantee you. And this is how the offense helps the defense, and they both help the special teams, whether it's kicking the ball for a field goal or kicking the ball for an extra point due to a touchdown, or punting the ball and flipping the field. It all matters. Okay? Now, 7 Charlie, we're going to pass defense. Bradley for the Jags had 13 attempts. Aguilar had 10 attempts, and Mullins had 7. Okay? None of these guys had over 9 completions. Nobody had double-digit completions for Jacksonville. That's getting it. And we only had the football 5 minutes more than they did. Okay? And the Jacksonville receiving leaders are a result of that. Cameron had the highest average per catch at 20.5, but he only had 41 yards off of 2 catches, which those are somewhat chunk plays too, mind you. Okay. And Penna, 4 targets, 4 catches. He was getting it, 72 yards. Yeah. And 7 Delta, the secondary nickel context. Now, Smith-Wade was balling, right? Got a pick. Turn for 7 yards. I like Smith-Wade. I like the way he plays, man. He's undersized, but he's smart. He's very smart. He's crafty. He'll try to bait the quarterback and the receiver at the same time. But the reason why it's a secondary nickel context with the Smith-Wade evidence situation is because of Thornton, right? It's because of Jimmy. I'm not Jimmy. I was thinking about Jimmy Horn. It's because of JC. Okay, it's because of the blanket. Okay, these individuals matter. We know Mike Jack and number 8 going to be on the field. We know that, right? But that nickel situation can flex based on the matchup, based on the circumstance of this of the possession, a number of things. Do I think Evero overthinks sometime? Yes, I do. But he's going to make some noise this year. I feel it. I feel it. If we can stop the run and our offense can score, we're going to put some pressure on a lot of people. 7 Echo, Wallace and Cherilus, the linebacker evidence, right? They both had the same amount of tackles. What I saw personally was Cherilus out of position a lot when it came to coverage. It's either communication or he's just so instinctive as a linebacker, he just flows. Right, because there's a lot of crossing in front of him behind the linebacker that confused him, or the back went out to the flat and that wasn't necessarily his read, because he seemed uncertain, right? And if you look at what the offense created when he moved, right, it seems like that he should not have been in that situation, right? He didn't make the right read, A lot of times in the pros, and that's the problem. You get dirty eyes and you don't make the right read. That's how you get out of position. Not necessarily that you're not a good player, right? It's just that you didn't read your keys. Consistency, right? So that situation is still going on after Lloyd. Lord knows. I'm just saying. All right. Element 8. And thanks for sticking around for the Panther Cons podcast, guys. If you're a football junkie like I am, but yeah, I'm enjoying this. I really am. All right. So the Panther Cons overall debrief, ladies and gentlemen. Carolina did not win this game because every efficiency number was clean. That's not why we won this game. We won because the Panthers control the parts of the box score that decides possessions. That's the important thing. Okay. Scoring territory, we were in it. Turnovers, we didn't have it. Dry finishes, we were doing it. All right, field position, we were controlling that situation. Special teams range, whether it was punt or field goal, even though Fitz missed one, but that's all right. And offensive protection. That's probably the biggest catalyst of the game yesterday. I still say this, and I mean it. Offensive linemen should be the highest paid group of individuals when it comes to the NFL. Because if you don't have an offensive line, that throws everything into array, because you have the offensive lineman, you have somebody from the offensive line normally playing on special teams as well, right? Field goal specials. These things matter, right? We plug in our 2 starting guards, and again, we've been practicing with these guys, but we stick in our 2 guards, right? And all of a sudden, Bryce Young is dialing it up. All right, it's good to see. We're really going to dive into things when it comes to Chicago in a couple of weeks, but on to the next preseason game, and heck, we'll be right here talking about it. All right. Thanks for checking out the Panther Cons podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Please subscribe, and as always, keep pounding.
Wow.